What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
No, give me that.
It takes a lot of humility to carry a bucket so magnificent.
What do you mean? This
Stanley
bucket
checked his
is amazing.
ego
It's
and then
perfect for me.
proceeded onward.
I'm gonna check my ego. Only I could handle this bucket. Only I can handle the magnificence of this bucket. Okay?
Stanley clutched
Just
the
me and the
bucket
bucket.
tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Bum, bum, bum. Alright, somewhere both red and blue. Go back in the broom closet.
Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet, simply because I have no remaining stickers. If I did, you can guarantee we'd be in here for hours. But alas, no stickers.
Oh, did I? Oh, rip. Meh. Oops. A mop edge.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Driz was just being super quiet, trying to like go under the radar. Being like, if I don't say anything, she won't
Stepping
notice.
into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication
What was
of
it?
any human
2845?
life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire, if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Yes. Mwahaha. Poor ghost, right? Just ghost gets slapped. Oops. Alright. So we're back
Stanley
in
and
the
the bucket walked
basement.
straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Mind control. I have the bucket though. It's okay, chat. We have the bucket.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What
Ooh.
horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
This thing. Oh, I can jump down like I did the last time by going on the desk, right? Which desk was it? Was it this one? Yeah, it was. I remembered.
But just as Stanley was about to proceed further into the mind control facility, he tripped and fell over the railing and into the dark void below.
To my
Thankfully,
death.
he fell directly onto the bucket, which safely cushioned his fall.
Oh, my trusty
Now,
bucket.
what to do next? Stanley wondered. Stanley and the bucket could find no way out of this enormous pit, and so eventually they decided that the best thing to do would be to simply get comfortable down here.
It's just you and I, bucket.
So they set up a little couch and relaxed.
Oh,
It really wasn't so bad down here. A bit cold, perhaps.
this is nice.
After
Oh, yeah,
some
we
time
got
had
us some
gone
TV,
by, they
man.
installed a few shelves as well, and a sort of kitchenette that was useful for when the bucket was craving paninis.
Oh, well, you know. I don't
It
blame him
wasn't
about the
until rugs
paninis.
and the standing lamps came in that it really started to feel like a home.
Oh,
In
chat,
fact,
it's getting
after
cozy.
Some time, Stanley realized that it had been ages since he had even thought of the mind control facility at all. He'd never gotten to fully explore what was up there, never been
cares?
able to unearth the many mysteries of the mind control facility. This lack of closure began to eat at him. Soon he was dwelling on his regrets, and the state of
Uh-oh.
their home slowly decayed as Stanley
No.
became withdrawn and
My
neglected the cleaning.
lamps. Uh-oh.
It unsettled the bucket.
Oh, rip.
quickly. Stanley wasn't usually like this. The bucket tried to reach out to him again and again, but to no avail. All Stanley could think about, all he could talk about, was going back, doing it over again, staying on the path. It was a mistake to leave the path. It was a mistake. It was a mistake. I need to do what the narrator says. I need to see the true ending. This made no sense at all to the bucket, which was simply trying to live its life down here as
It's just
comfortably
trying to
as
live its
possible.
best
Yet
bucket
Stanley
life.
was unconsolable. This isn't an ending. This is just a hole in the ground. The bucket sighed. True, it wasn't an ending. But it's where we happen to be. And maybe, possibly, if we accept the reality of things, maybe this will become an ending eventually. It's what the bucket was counting on.
Dun, dun,
The two of them waited for a very long time.
Mm-hmm. And then it was the end.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
What could it
Stanley
mean?
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Alright, so I have one more computer to find. Bum bum bum. Bucket.
Stanley
Come here,
cradled
Bucket.
the bucket in a gentle embrace. Protective, yet delicate. Assertive, yet
You're
compassionate.
compassionate.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Be-do-do-do-do-do.
Stanley, we must move on from this
Fine.
broom closet, simply because I have no remaining stickers. If I
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Weird.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an
Hush,
indication
manager.
of any
Oh,
human
I did
life.
again.
Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire, if not. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck.
It's
Was
sheer
it the
luck.
bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him?
Yes.
Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Back into the dark.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Someone turn on the lights.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
Cameras.
Monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped,
Ooh.
monitored like guinea pigs.
Rip.
The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears.
It's okay,
as Stanley
Bucket.
cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
It's okay. I'll save you, Bucket. I'll protect you.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well?
Oh,
Had
no.
the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place?
True.
These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it.
Not
His
like
own
this.
life in someone else's control. Never! He
Pirate?
squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket.
But what if the bucket is under the control? Dun dun dun.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life.
We must
For
destroy
he and
it.
the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way.
In a
The
cool
bucket
way?
made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
Oh, so sassy. The bucket's like, let's dump some water on this facility. Yeah. beat a boop. Mind controls idle, awaiting input. Off or
When
on?
at last they came to the source of the room's power, Stanley and the bucket knew it was their obligation to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
True. But I kind of want to see if he's going to try to murder me in the bucket again.
But at the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls.
Bucket,
Stanley
no!
gasped in horror. Had this been the bucket's plan all along? To take over the machine and claim the power for itself?
Evil
How
bucket.
could the bucket have betrayed him like this? Stanley was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen.
Seagulls.
Birds. Silly, silly birds. The control buttons became active again.
Planet Bird Earth. Okay. Tracking them all. I am trash man? What? Okay, what's this? Oh, flamingos.
Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it
Oh.
dawned on him. This wasn't a mind control facility at all.
Penguins!
It was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly birds all over the world. The mind controls were only a facade to disguise its true intentions.
That's
Had
weird.
the bucket known this all along? Stanley marveled at the metal genius in his hands, the one who had pointed him towards this incredible discovery. Stanley and the bucket never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place.
Watching
living
birds.
through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable. Of all the possible paths his life could have taken, this one was surely the best.
Well, at least he didn't try
And
to kill
Stanley
us.
was happy.
Birds make him happy. Until. Well. Alright, so I guess this time we'll hit the power and turn it off and see what happens.
A soft wind blew outside and perhaps rain started, and if it did, it stopped shortly after. Stanley hoped that he would one day see weather.
Stanley's bucket, the only co-worker he would ever truly need.
True. Who needs anything else besides the bucket? Nobody. It's just the bucket and me. See weather, huh?
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
I think I have to go through the right door still and die a bunch to make the narrator mad at me.
Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet. Simply because I have no... Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed, but
Beep,
Stanley
boop.
guessed the correct code by sheer luck.
Yes,
Was it the bucket
just
knew all
lucky,
along?
chat.
Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Most logical. Clearly. There could be no other answer. How could you doubt that the bucket was, guiding us? Bucket life, best life. Welcome back. Bing, boom. Let's see.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Mind control.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to
The
themselves.
horror. Turn on the
monitors jumped
cameras.
to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock.
Yeah, so one up there
Everyone
says
in the office
pirate.
was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Also, why are those like, there is some filing boxes on people's desks that are like glowing green and weird.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well?
Yes.
Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do?
Of course.
What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control. Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket.
Nobody but the bucket.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place.
We're gonna
And as
turn
the
it
cold
off.
reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life.
Whoops. It's fine.
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over?
Oh.
Yes, they had done it.
Did
Stanley
we?
and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy.
Huzzah!
Freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate.
Wait,
Stanley
what?
wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth.
Wait,
Both
what?
of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end.
That's weird.
True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support, and...
Uh-oh.
What? Wait. What was happening?
No.
Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed? An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty,
I can climb
until
that.
finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket.
No, let me
Needed the
out.
soothing warmth of the bucket. Would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No, no, no. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I?
No,
Stanley gulped. Very
I
soon
don't think
now,
so.
he was about to find out.
It's just me and the bucket forever. Beep boop boop. This is a new room, chat. Where we at, chat?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Come here,
Is
bucket.
Stanley, without the bucket, really Stanley at all? No. Stanley pressed the bucket upon every little thing in the office. Nothing responded to the bucket's touch, but it did little to discourage Stanley's belief in the magic of the bucket.
The bucket's magical. Hold on. Let's go do the whiteboard ending. Welcome to the whiteboard ending. Dog mode. Oh! That worked! Oh no, what have I done, chat? Every time I interact with something, it's gonna bark now. Arf. This won't get annoying, right, chat? You guys don't mind it. It's fine.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Arf.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought. No, never mind.
The bucket was wrong.
Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Yeah, I think I have to, like,
said
jump
the
off a
bucket.
few times
Don't
now.
go to the meeting room. Go somewhere
Boing.
else.
But Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching.
Isn't it, though? So sweet.
Stanley knew the office layout like the back of his hand. It was only a matter of time before he found the others, wherever they were. Just a matter of time.
Only a matter of time, chat. Hashtag soon.
As Stanley lifted his bucket, he felt a connection to all buckets everywhere. This adventure, he decided, was for all of them.
For all the buckets in the world.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was.
Oh, you have to go to
Had
baby
the bucket
game?
turned out to be correct?
Oh.
Never mind.
I was just
The
trying to
bucket
kill
was
myself
wrong.
multiple times.
Stanley
Got
took
you.
the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
I don't think anything happened. Well, let's see what happens
No,
if I kill myself
the
over and
bucket.
over with the
Don't go
bucket.
to the meeting room. Go somewhere else.
But Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend.
My
So he
dearest
threw
friends.
himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms.
Have I,
How deeply touching.
Have I gotten all the endings except for the 4-hour ending? Nani? Bros, this is a different hallway. Also, I can press that and go to Bubble Land.
What new mysteries lay in store for our bucket-loving hero? Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
It's simply
And here
the
it was. Had the bucket turned out to be
place.
correct? Was no, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
With the bucket? Lock him in the office
No,
with the bucket?
Said the bucket.
Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo.
But Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms.
I already did
deeply
the lock
touching.
him in the office ending, but if that has one with the bucket.
Wait, Stanley thought to himself. Am I sure that the orders stopped coming in? How is that possible?
How's
Now
that
this,
possible?
Stanley thought to himself, this is a bucket.
It's a beautiful
And
bucket.
It was.
Alright, well, let's try to lock the narrator out.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his
Bum, bum,
chest
bum, bum.
and entered the door on his left.
What's the one where you go, the ride up and down one? I was already in the elevator.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Alright, let's see if we can do this. Rip. Rip.
Stepping into
Bye. Bye, narrator. Toodles. See you later. It's just me and my bucket. wandering. Oh, because the boss knows that what the boss says goes. If the boss has suffered losses, then that's what the boss chose. Nani? I'm free. Oh, right, that one. Take that, Mr. Narrator. It's just me and my bucket walking the halls. I can sit in the broom closet. I did. Yes. Yeah. I grabbed the Stanley down there. Mm-hmm. It's just me and my trusty bucket. Back to my office, chat. Oh, wait. Or I could press the button. Oh, it's tempting, but let's go in here. You are now leaving. Where are we going, chat? It's a mystery. Oh, right. This ending. I forgot about this ending. God, there's so many endings. It's fine. We're just walking up 50 stairs. It's no biggie. Yeah, I just need the last one in the red and blue room, which I guess is the baby one. It's fine. We're almost there. Escape pods. Eject. But I'm not gonna be able to leave with the bucket. One dark hallway, chat. Oh, I've done this one already. Haven't I? I wasn't able to leave because I had the bucket. Oh, never mind. This is different. Goodbye, bucket. Be safe. Remember me. Caressing the bucket's cheek softly. Imprinting this last moment together in my memories. Sending the bucket on its way. I'll remember you. Please don't forget me. Goodbye, my bucket. Rip.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
What
Stanley
could
decided
it
to go to the
mean?
meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
It's gone! The bucket is gone for... It's gone! Your bucket, come back! Not like this. My bucket.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
So
This
getting
was not
to
the
this
correct way
ending...
to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
So to
It
get
was
to the
okay.
double door room, it was okay. Yeah, it's nothing special. It's just a room. I have to kill
Eager
myself,
to get
right?
back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Or do I just constantly just go that way?
Stanley was so
crap.
bad at
I can't
following
remember.
directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not.
Yes, you
I
are.
realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time.
It's a
There's
lie.
someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about.
What? Really?
Yes.
I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you
Maybe.
that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you?
Yes.
I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
Oh, right,
Now
right.
listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
And there it is. The last,
The last Stiggly Wiggly.
Savor this moment, Stanley. This is a real accomplishment. This is doing something just for the sake of doing it. Where so many people expect to be rewarded
Hey,
for the most
Adrian.
trivial achievements, you've insisted that a job well done is its own reward.